Hello and welcome to Talk the Walk. I'm Raymond Yang. Every day, around 11,000 tons of municipal solid waste goes to Hong Kong's landfills. Only 5%, or around 600 tons of those waste, are recycled locally. But that percentage could even fall lower after the city's only recycler for drinks cartons could be forced out of business after just 3 years over a tenancy dispute. Joining us tonight is the owner of that recycling factory, Harold Yip. Before we discuss the tenancy issues, can I first ask you about the rather peculiar name of your factory? It's called Mill, I believe.
Yes, because when we think about the name of the factory, we want a name that can be easily remembered by the kids, because we are talking about a new habit to recycle those drink cartons. In the past, they just dump in the rubbish bin, and then we think about build a brand for the factory, and because also normally the paper processing or pulp processing is called a mill, and then we are handling milk. That's why we just take out the K from the milk and then mill. This will be a very interesting name for the kids. I just visited mill today, and then we know all those beverage cartons can be recycled. That's why we use this name.
Mr. Yip, I understand that you've operated a waste management company for over a decade. So can you tell us why you decided to actually expand your business and set up this recycling plant just for drinks cartons?
Okay. I was before in the in fact, our company has always been in the paper recycling, and then our vision is talking about a circular economy for paper. And then, but in 2010, we got the idea about a pulp mill. If you look into the waste data, you can see that paper is the second largest weight portion in the total waste. The number one always know that is food waste, but the second one is paper. And to me, this is interesting because paper is very easy to be recycled. You just don't dump into the rubbish bin, put in the recycling bins, but the volume is still very high. And then I analyzed the data. Okay, some paper, just like the beverage cartons, drink carton, Tetra Pak, milk carton, or paper cup, they couldn't be recycled with a local facility. That's one portion. And also, I wonder, to many people, recycling is something very remote. They just put in the bin and then nothing know about what happened later. We think that if we build such a pulp mill in Hong Kong, we can get people understand more about recycling and encourage more recycling, and that's true, proven to be true in our case. Yeah.
Do you think Hong Kong is still very far behind compared to other countries in the region in terms of like pulp mill recycling, like the factory you're setting up? And why is it so difficult to recycle like drinks cartons?
Okay. In fact, in China, in Taiwan, they already have the facility to handle those beverage cartons, and yeah, and for beverage cartons, because they are not just paper, they are a composite material with plastic and even aluminium. That's why they couldn't be recycled in the general recycling stream for paper, and even the pulping process or the paper making process. There's some modification on the machinery to handle all those beverage cartons. That's why I traditional paper mill, they don't like to handle those beverage cartons. And then for Hong Kong, such a small place to find the factory is already difficult. The investment not easy, and also we're talking about to build a habit from 0 to 1. This is a big step. I'm talking about the investment size may not be very high for beverage carton recycling. But the problem is after that, how we can ensure the continuous supply of paper continuous supply of those used beverage cartons for recycling. That will be a big challenge.
You said this business is not very profitable. So I understand that you've invested about $10 million into this factory about 3 years ago. Can you tell us how much of this money you've been able to recoup so far, or is this still a loss-making business?
Well, in terms of operation, we are more or less now break even. Yeah, but of course, it's not talking. Also because of the COVID situation, and then you can see that we are not talking about. Even we can renew the contract for another 3 years. We couldn't recover all our investment. And but we build the network and then we build the goodwill. That's we think that's justified.
So you understand the reason I'm inviting you to this show is because of your recent exchanges with the landlord, the Science Park Corporation. So I understand there's been a back and forth discussions and disputes between you, the company, and the Science Park. And they said that at the very beginning, when you signed the tenancy contract back in 2018, you were led to believe that you will be able to occupy this plot of land for at least 6 years. But then, just this week, the Science Park Corporation came out and said they've never made you such a promise. So what really happened in between?
Okay. In 2018, when we talked to Science Park on the tenancy, we already mentioned that again and again that we need at least 6 years. But because of all government short-term leasing, the term just 3 years. But it was usually the practice that after 3 years, if no big changes and your performance, good, not creating any problem, you can continue the leasing. That's always the short-term leasing with the government contract like this. And at that time, we asked them any development plan for this area, and they said no, because the factory we now occupy already vacant for more than 10 years. And then we asked them any development plan, no. And also they said that because we are green industry, we are at that time we were very innovative, first to introduce the technology to Hong Kong, and that's why they welcomed us.
So now the park says your business is incompatible with their future development, and that they will not easily renew or sign new contracts with companies unless they're of premium value or of high value, of high potential. Does this give you a feeling that they feel your business is not really premium enough?
I don't know how they justify. First, when they always talk about reindustrialization, you can see my background photo, all heavy machines. And then that's industry. We are not industry. And then if they just want to talk about the use of technology, let's say like IoT, cloud-based, or even AI, we do have such elements in our factory. This is about application to improve our efficiency, to help us to get more data, understand more the waste problem, the waste situation in the territory. So we make use of those so-called high tech, and then to for the application of this factory. I don't know how they can define us as low value added. And you see, we are making a big social impact. We are changing the consumer habit, the public habit. From in the past, we always talk about clean recycling. It's not easy. You see the recycle bin on the streets, but now we are collecting those beverage cartons being cleaned. 95% post-consumer, all cleaned. That's a big social impact.
So I suppose there's a standstill between the discussions or renewing the contract. If there's no breakthrough, I understand that you have to stop operation by the end of December, or actually you have to, the tenancy actually ends by the end of December. And you said you need 3 months to actually start the decommissioning process. Can you tell us why you need 3 months to actually stop to prepare for your departure?
Okay, well, we still have stock here. Yeah. We at least we need 1 more month to digest all those stock. I mean, those beverage cartons, and we need to pop them, and then after killing them, I don't want to just landfill. We want to pop them first, handle them, recycle them first, and then after that, then we can start the demolishment of those machinery. So it takes almost 3 months, but at the moment we don't say that. We still accept used beverage carton sending to us until further notice.
Mr. Yip, let me stop you right there as we go on our break. Stay with us. We'll be back right after the break.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back to Talk the Walk. I'm Raymond Yuen. For those of you who've just joined us, we have Harold Yip, the owner of Hong Kong's only recycling plant for drinks cartons. Harold, before the break, we've been talking about how this saga between the tenancy agreement between you and the Science Park Corporation has been dragging on. And I know that you've been also looking for a new venue to relocate to. Can you tell us if the government is helping you in this regard?
EPD contacted us and then said, mentioned that there were 3 pieces of land available for tender in the coming month. That's all.
What do you mean by 3 pieces of land available by tender? Does that mean you still have to compete with other potential bidders?
Yes. That's the process. Yeah. They couldn't just allocate the land to me, and then all those lands, those pieces of land, we already replied to EPD, not suitable for us.
Is there a reason why all these plots of land are not suitable for your recycling plant?
One piece is being located in Changzhou, it's outlying island, and we're talking about a territory-wide collection scheme for beverage cartons. The logistics not feasible, and then the other one in Pingzhou, and then Songkata Island. We're talking about the piece of land too small, and then the last one in Taiwan, and in the past the rental for this Taiwan is very, very high, because this is the only piece of land in Hong Kong Island that can be used for recycling. And that's why the other recycler, if they want to collect all those recyclable, no matter paper or metals in the Hong Kong Island, this is the only place that can. That's why the rental very, very high, more than a double of our current rental. And talking about the 3 pieces of land, just land, it's not talking factory. And also electricity supply. All those we have to handle.
What about moving your factory across the border to the mainland, where you can find vast swathes of land for a cheaper price, and then you have cheaper labor as well? Is that a feasible option, moving your factory to the mainland?
No, because all our waste couldn't be exported to even China, particularly those used beverage cartons and mixed paper also. Because all those, mainland China now ban all those import of waste paper, except Hong Kong and Macau, but only allow those what they call the 3 types of paper, EPD call 3 types of paper: carton box, newsprint, and office paper. Those are high quality waste paper. But then for those beverage carton, they classify it as rubbish only. municipal solid waste and then mixed paper also low grade, then they will not accept it.
This sounds to me that it is more or less an administrative issue. What if the government, the EPD, approaches you and says, we're able to actually help you export the drinks cartons by talking to the mainland counterparts? And if suppose they iron out this detail, will you consider moving your factory to the mainland then?
We need study, but I don't think so because we clearly understand the nation's policy in terms of waste management. Well, even for our pulp, once we produce the pulp, it took us more than 6 months to get the proof those pulp are not waste, but rather raw materials. So the PLC is quite strict now in terms of all those waste recyclable material import.
You've also revealed that people from Singapore have actually approached you and your company regarding a potential relocation of your factory to the city-state in Singapore. Can you tell us more about this exchange, and is there actually potential for you to actually start another business in Singapore?
Well, this is some misunderstanding. We talked to Singapore last year, and then we are talking about our plan is to have a factory in Singapore and then also a factory in Hong Kong, because I always emphasize that our mill, our factory is to handle local waste, the local waste. We are not going to export the waste to some other countries, and that's the trend. Every country, they have to be responsible for their own waste, how to manage or take care of their waste, but cannot export.
But can you tell us why they're so interested in talking to you? Is it because your technology is something that they've yet to harness, or is it because that you've set a very good example to them and they're very interested in copying your model to Singapore?
Yeah, that's the latest state. In fact, beverage carton, drink carton recycling is not very new technology. I mentioned that China, mainland China, Taiwan, many countries already have factory on this. But for Singapore, but for Hong Kong, in the past, there are so many obstacles. And same for Singapore, talking about a small country or just a big city, and then our case, mill in Hong Kong, proven to be sustainable even in such a big city, and that's why they are interested. Because Singapore mentioned that they also talk to some big paper company. They mentioned that not feasible for a pulp mill in Singapore, but we built one in Hong Kong. Even before the same situation for Hong Kong, we are SSID is the first company to say that it's possible to set a pulp mill in Hong Kong. And
So are you saying that you've proven a lot of people wrong in thinking that Hong Kong cannot actually have a sustainable, self-sustainable recycling business, but you've proven them wrong by setting up this factory, which is recycling drinks cartons?
Yes, we are. Yes, you can say so. We prove it to the. Yeah, we know that. Although in the past, when we start production in October 2019, and then 2020 already COVID, and then up till now, all the situation up and down, but still we survive, and then we see the trend going up. I mean the volume we collected, particularly this year, growing rapidly.
You said you can actually process about 3 tons of drinks cartons every day, but then your factory is still not running at its full capacity. So is there a reason why not enough drinks cartons is coming over to the factory? Is the government's recycling network not extensive enough, or are people actually not warming up to the idea yet?
Yeah, okay. Well, our factory can handle up to 60 metric tons a day, 24 hours. 24 hours, yes. Now collection fee 3 metric ton. Please understand that in the past, everyone's concept about beverage cartons just rubbish. You just throw away. Even the EPD they advertised this before. I probably 3-4 years ago. And then this is still a quite new concept to many to the public. And I always say that probably around 1/3 of Hong Kong people know about our factory that can handle those used beverage cartons. And then, we still need more promotion advertising effort on this. And of course, our collection network also very limited, although already 600, but still not enough.
Do you think Hong Kong's recycling scene is in a much better position than it was about, let's say, 10 years ago? And what types of other recyclable materials should we focus on next?
Well, definitely we are in a better situation compared to 10 years ago. At least the municipal solid waste charging scheme already approved it. And then the government now trying to launch more producer responsibility scheme. And I think the general public awareness also going higher and higher. And that's why it seems to be better, but still there's something not enough. For our case, I always say that it's not about one meal. It's talking about the support from the government, particularly in terms of land. Yeah, and the industry, we all complain that all those leasing with the government is talking about 3 years. Yeah, if just for simple recycling, collection, baling, and then export, maybe enough. But if you're talking about setting up the factory, then we need longer term of for the leasing term, we need longer years. Otherwise, no one would like to invest such a huge amount.
You're saying the tenancy needs to be much longer than than renewable every 3 years. How long do you think it should be? Like 10 years or 20? But then the government will always argue that for fairness sake, they have to actually allow other potential businesses to actually be able to compete with you for the same plot of land, because land is a very scarce resource in Hong Kong.
Well, this is about urban planning. I cannot say anything, but what we know that is there are only around 18 pieces of land, and other than Eco Park, available for the recycler to operate in Hong Kong. That's not enough. Totally not enough. Many recyclers, they are operating in those in those remote areas, in new territories. And
I have another question, because I always go to the new territories a lot, and like the rural parts of the new territories, and I see a lot of like scrap metal recycling plants and a lot of recycling factories in those rural villages and brownfield sites. And there seems to be a lot of vacant land available. So is it really hard for you to actually just move to a rural area? And what is holding you back from doing this? Is it the land application process, or is it the infrastructure process?
Okay. First, I don't think those operations are 100% legitimate. When we start this mill, we want to be ensure it 100% legitimate. Particularly, we also got support from the recycling fund, and that's why we need such factory. And also, second is you are right about the infrastructure. Here we got the electricity supply, but in those brownfield, the electricity supply is a big problem. Here I got more than 2,500 a supply of electricity. This is very rare, even in most industrial buildings in Hong Kong. So and then we really need such high. We need such electricity for our operation.
Harold, thanks so much for talking to us tonight, and I wish you the best of luck. I'll see you the same time next week.
Okay, thank you.